Coming up on Citrus TV Live at 6, I'll tell you more about the weather, what it's going to look like if you're sticking around on campus, and what it's going to look like if you're headed home. All more coming up.
And the Rosemont Gifford Zoo is hosting an annual fundraiser. Find out how you can get your hands on some animal-created artwork.
And today marks the deadline for Florida's recount of election votes. We'll have which county didn't make the deadline and when the final results will be in. Citrus TV News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
It's gotten colder in Syracuse over the past week, but we're not alone in experiencing the frosty weather. Snow is falling across the country, making travel a little more difficult this weekend. Good evening, I'm Zach Lang.
And I'm Gilat Melamed. Students making their way home for break may experience delays on their trips. Snow is coming down everywhere from Arkansas to Virginia to New Hampshire. Airports across the country have canceled around 1,000 flights today, and an additional 4,000 have been delayed.
And the snow has started to pick back up in Syracuse, and Citrus TV weather anchor Carmella Boykin is outside with more on what we should expect here. Carmella?
Thanks, guys. As you can see outside, it's snowing pretty good right now, especially behind me. It's currently 29 degrees outside, but it's so chilly, it definitely feels like 18. And if you take a look at our photo of the day sent in by Julia Kelly, we've got a bit of a little Throwback Thursday action going on. You can see here she has a snowman. This was taken last year, and this is basically what we can expect coming up. As we take a look at the weather tonight, we are in a winter weather advisory for the area until 10 a.m. tomorrow. So if you're headed out tonight, make sure that you are driving careful. And as we take a look at the weather for tonight, we're going to hit a low of around 27 degrees. Snowfall is expected to continue throughout the night. We're expecting 7 to 10 inches of snow. And as we move into tomorrow, around 9 a.m., we're going to be around 31 degrees. Around noon, we're going to hit 35, and we're going to have a few snow showers early, but those are going to transition into a mix of snow and rain. Around 1 p.m., at noon, we're going to be at 35 degrees, and at 6 p.m., we're going to be at 35 again. That's all I have for you guys right now, but make sure you stick around for my full 5-day weather forecast after the break.
Thanks, Carmella. Be sure to get back in here and get warm quick. $1 million is going to support a new center for undergraduate research. The university says the investment will quadruple the current support for undergraduate research. Chancellor Kent Syverud says that this kind of commitment to undergraduate research will help the university, quote, recruit, retain, and graduate a more diverse and talented student body and prepare them for postgraduate success.
There has been nearly one mass shooting every day in the U.S. this year. As acts of violence continue, tensions and worries are going up. Citrus TV News reporter David Edelstein tells us how religious institutions are keeping their communities coming through the doors while keeping people who would threaten them out.
It happened here.
Somebody saw a car pulled up in front of them, and they put this brown case into the trunk of the car.
At the Jewish Community Center in Syracuse, someone texted 911. Police arrived within 2 minutes.
It ended up not being anything, but we treated it very seriously.
The person? SU Newhouse student Josh Horowitz. The brown box? His camera case.
It was an Uber picking the young man up who had just done an interview with Michael Balinoff from the Federation, and that's what was called into the state police.
So you had just finished an interview and were heading out?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I just put my stuff in the car and then I was gone.
Elbacher says this kind of suspicion and reaction is a sign of the times. Times where you have to be precautionary after events like the shooting in Pittsburgh just 19 days ago.
Can I help you? Okay, just a minute.
The JCC has card swipes, bulletproof glass, buzzers, and over 33 cameras. Erlbacher says they've received a $50,000 grant in order to harden security even further.
What do you hope that installing all of this security will do?
You want to make it not worth their trouble to come into your building.
This while an FBI report released Tuesday shows the number of hate crimes in the U.S. increased 17% last year.
But you can't live in a fortress. You can't walk around encased in Kevlar. That's not realistic. We have to go out and we have to live our life.
David Edelstein, Citrus TV News.
Autumn often includes fun, carefree activities such as apple or pumpkin picking, but what if there was an event that is just as fun as it is academic? Citrus TV's Nick Kuzma learned how a walk in the woods might be just that.
Right off Bishop Hill Road in the small town of Marcellus, the Baltimore Woods Nature Center has been around for over 50 years. The center maintains 182 acres of land and allows for people of all ages to connect with nature. And this year, they're using one of their 6 trails to celebrate both the importance of nature and November's biggest holiday.
When you ask somebody what comes to mind when they think about Thanksgiving, they usually say 2 things: being with family as well as being appreciative for all that you have. These values are evident here in Marcellus, New York, where the staff here at the Baltimore Woods, as well as the staff at a local public library, are coming together to do something special for the community with a Thanksgiving twist.
There are some really great supportive organizations in the community that make great partners for us. Baltimore Woods especially. This is the first of some future collaborations we've got planned with them.
This collaboration includes Jonathan London and Gregory Manches's book, Giving Thanks. The Marcellus Free Library donated the children's book, and the staff at the Baltimore Woods posted each page throughout one of the trails. This allows children and their families to enjoy walking a beautiful trail while also reading a book that is closely associated with the values of Thanksgiving. Baltimore Woods Executive Director Whitney Lash Marshall took me and Jake Widrick on the story walk. She gave me some context as to what I was seeing.
This is a stand of what we call secondary forest. So this used to be a farm, much like next door. And some of it was pasture for cattle as well. So a lot of this is growing back for a second time. So there's a lot of much smaller trees, a lot of sugar maples back here, ash, and some other trees that come up really fast after it's been cleared.
Well, though the trail looked more like Christmas time than Turkey Day, the book, which is about a boy and his father giving thanks for nature, certainly can put anyone in the mood for Thanksgiving. The story walk remains open through November 30th. More events between Marcellus Free Library and the Baltimore Woods Nature Center are coming in 2019. In snowy Marcellus, I'm Nick Kuzma, CitrusTV News.
Fans of animal-made artwork are in luck. Tomorrow, the Rosamond Gifford Zoo is hosting its 9th annual Art Gone Wild fundraiser. Paintings created by the animals under zookeeper supervision will be auctioned off starting at 6 p.m. The proceeds will benefit the zoo's chapter of the American Association of Zookeepers as well as wildlife conservation efforts. The latest on a suspicious package near Destiny, USA that shut down Salina Street for several hours last night. Business resumed as normal today after the object that was believed to be a bomb at a Pilot gas station turned out to be an empty plastic tube. Bomb squads determined the object was not dangerous, reopening 7th North Street last night. The person who left the tube there says he was cleaning out his car but couldn't fit the object in the trash.
A 4-car crash in DeWitt this morning left 1 man dead at the scene. The accident occurred on East Malloy Road near Falzo Drive around 6:45 this morning. The 57-year-old man was waiting to turn left when he was hit from behind by a pickup truck, sending his sedan into oncoming traffic. 2 others involved have non-life-threatening injuries, and no charges or tickets have been issued. And U.S. Representative John Katko's campaign is now saying thousands of taxpayers' money went towards the security of Vice President Mike Pence. Back in June, Pence hosted a fundraiser for Katko's campaign in Syracuse. Reports show that Syracuse taxpayers paid $13,000 to the Syracuse Police Department for their security services. Organizers say it is common for local police to help with the security of a visiting high-profile political figure. The fundraiser was a private event, and those invited needed to pay $1,000.
Stepping outside Onondaga County to the 22nd Congressional District election, Democrat Anthony Brindisi's lead is increasing over Republican incumbent Claudia Tenney. After counting a round of absentee ballots, Brindisi has 1,500 more votes than his opponent. County Elections Commissioner for Oneida County says officials will continue counting votes into next week and hope to finish by Thanksgiving.
Coming up next, the deadly wildfires in California continue. We'll have updates on the victims and what officials are doing to help.
And find out why the man overseeing Britain's Brexit negotiations is resigning. All that and more when we return.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good stir. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Votes from the Senate and governor's election recounts in Florida's 67 counties were due this afternoon, but at least 2 counties missed the deadline. Earlier in the day, a federal judge refused to extend the deadline past 3 p.m.
Palm Beach and Hillsborough counties said they did not finish the machine recount on time. As a result, the state heads into a manual recount for the Senate race. State election boards will now recount votes by hand. The recount needs to be completed by Sunday. And 2 members of SEAL Team 6 are among the 4 U.S. soldiers charged with the murder of Green Beret soldier. Army Staff Sergeant Logan Melgar was allegedly killed in 2017 at a U.S. government compound in Mali in a hazing incident gone wrong.
The 4 servicemen were also charged with obstruction of justice after allegedly lying about using duct tape to strangle Melgar and their whereabouts that night. A hearing is scheduled for next month. A Florida man accused of mailing 16 pipe bombs to critics of President Trump pled not guilty this afternoon. A federal judge in Manhattan set the trial for Cesar Sayoc to begin on July 15th.
Officials say last month, Sayoc sent bombs to high-ranking officials, including former President Barack Obama, Vice President Joe Biden, and Bill and Hillary Clinton.
Last week, Sayoc was indicted on 30 charges in connection to the mailings. If convicted, he will face up to life in prison.
New details tonight on the ongoing deadly fires in California. Firefighters in Northern California battling the Camp Fire say the death toll has risen to 56 and 130 people are missing. This is the deadliest wildfire on record in state history.
The state is sending over 450 rescue crew members, including some from the National Guard. Their job is to search for more of those missing people. Firefighters who aren't battling the flames are checking on survivors and bringing them food and water.
Firefighters say 35% of the Camp Fire is contained. The downstate at the Woolsey Fire, at least 3 people have died and 52% of the blaze is contained.
Updates on CNN's lawsuit against members of the Trump administration. Many major news networks issued a joint statement of support for the lawsuit. Advocates believe it is imperative that journalists access the president and other political events.
Some of the news organizations supporting the lawsuit include the Associated Press, Bloomberg, NBC, the New York Times, Politico, and the Washington Post. Even Trump's preferred network, Fox News, released a statement favoring CNN's actions.
The judge in the case listened to arguments about CNN's request for nearly 2 hours yesterday. The final hearing is scheduled for tomorrow at 10 a.m. Vice President Mike Pence spoke out against the lawsuit in Singapore.
This administration has stood strong for a free and independent press and defended the freedom of the press on the world stage, and we'll continue to stand very strongly on the world stage, whether it be the case in Myanmar with 2 Reuters reporters, whether it be the murder of Jamal Khashoggi in Turkey. We'll continue to condemn actions against a free and independent press because, as the President understands, we understand prosperity and freedom go hand in hand, and that includes a free and independent press.
The U.S. Treasury Department echoed the Vice President's condemnation of the treatment of journalists with actions today. This afternoon, the department designated sanctions against the 17 suspects in the murder of U.S. journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
The sanctions fall under a Human Rights Accountability Act that allows the government to target perpetrators of human rights violations with sanctions. Some of those sanctioned include Saudi government leaders.
This comes after the chief Saudi prosecutor says he is seeking the death penalty for 5 of those suspects charged with ordering and carrying out the murder.
And another country Pence mentioned is also struggling. Rohingya Muslims from Myanmar are refusing to go back to their home country as part of a refugee resettlement program.
Over 700,000 refugees are currently in camps in Bangladesh. The United Nations warned against the attempted resettlement.
The warning says resettling would be, quote, throwing them back into the cycle of human rights violations.
Another high-profile member of the British government is resigning his position in the wake of the newly negotiated Brexit deal. This time, it's the man overseeing the country's Brexit negotiations.
British Prime Minister Dominic Raab was the Brexit secretary. Raab says he believes the current deal negotiated by Prime Minister Theresa May grants the EU too much power.
Raab's departure comes with the resignation of another minister in Theresa May's cabinet. He was the second person in 4 months to occupy the Brexit secretary position. Coming up after the break, Carmella Boykin has your full weather forecast. Stay with us.
It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Wait. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where do cats go on vacation? New York.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Taking a look at our future radar, you can see this is Winter Storm Avery. This is coming up the East Coast, and this is really what's going to impact us the most overnight. And this storm is what is going to give us our winter storm warning. So a watch is potential, advisory is sort of going to happen, but the warning, we've seen precipitation that is most likely going to happen. So with this winter storm warning, we can expect heavy snow overnight, 8 to 10 inches with rates at about 1 inch per hour. And this is in effect until 10 a.m. on Friday. So if you're headed out tonight, if you are headed home, or if you're just sticking around, make sure you really take precaution. Slow and steady always wins the race when it comes to driving safely. And taking a look at our current temperatures across the state of New York, we're at 29 in Syracuse, perfect temperature for snow, and pretty consistent temperatures throughout. 30 in Rochester, 27 in Penn, Ithaca, and Elmira, and 25 in Binghamton. And as we take a look at our weather for tonight, we're going to hit a low of around 27 degrees. Again, it's going to snow completely throughout the night, but it's also snowy, which means it's time to get in the mood with those holiday jams. Maybe it's not Thanksgiving, but I know for tonight when I'm studying for my exam, I'm definitely going to be blasting that Mariah Carey. And taking a look at our weather for tomorrow, it's going to be snowy. There we go. Whoops. Taking a look at our weather for tomorrow, we're going to hit a high of 35 degrees. We're going to have a bit of snow early, but around 1 p.m., that's going to start mixing in with some rain, and then we're going to see a mix of snow and rain. So again, those are going to be really slick roads. So if you're headed out for tomorrow, make sure that you drive safely. And as you take a look at our 5-day forecast, if you are sticking around for the winter break on Friday, like I said, rain and snow. Saturday, again, rain and snow. Sunday, we are going to have a sunny Sunday, so it's going to be really nice, but it's definitely going to be chilly, 34 degrees. And then on Monday, we're going to have some PM snow showers, as well as Tuesday, dropping down to 16 and 14 degrees, so that's pretty chilly. That's all I have for you right now, but Matt, what you got for us in sports?
Thanks, Carmella. I'm sure that all you want for Christmas is an exam, but, have fun listening to Mariah Carey tonight. But in sports, SU women's basketball picks up a ranked win away from the Carrier Dome. A Big East rivalry is renewed in the Big Apple, and an NCAA tournament comes to the Salt City. We'll be right back.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
After a heartbreaking road loss to number 3 Oregon, Syracuse women's basketball traveled to White Plains to kick off Cuse in the City against number 20 Texas A&M. These two teams last played in 2016 when the Aggies steamrolled the Orange, but last night was a different story. Let's go there now to White Plains. Not exactly the Big Apple, but close enough. Tiana Mangakahia goes into the lane early on, no good. Aaliyah Wilson on the rebound, leads the fast break, finds Kennedy Carter for the bucket, and the Aggies are up 16-13 at the end of the first quarter. Go to the second now. Mangakahia back with the ball, turns it over, but manages to get it back, dishes it to Miranda Drummond down low as she finds it home against the backboard. Find that mark right in the box. That's the kiss mark, Zach. Syracuse goes into the break down 1, but it's all Mangakahia in the second half. Drills this one from straightaway 3. Syracuse would finally shoot 40% from 3 on the day. Miranda Drummond tacks on another. And Mangakahia back in transition, absolutely dominant in the second half. She had 26 points on the day, but here finds Isis Young for 3. Syracuse goes on to win 75-65. What do you think, Coach Q? Pretty good from 3.
Accepted the challenge. I thought that she really, took it personal at halftime and knew that she had to be the point guard that we needed her to be and the one that we have. I mean, if you look at the 2 point guards that she's played against up to this point, I don't think anybody can argue that she's one of the top point guards in the country, and we're fortunate to have her.
And Big East action is back tonight. Well, sort of. Former Big East rivals Syracuse and UConn will face off tonight at 7 in the third game of the 2K Classic. Both teams enter this matchup 2-0 and have a storied history. This game will be the 94th game between Syracuse and UConn, with Syracuse holding a 56-38 advantage. The Orange also won last year's contest, a 72-63 win over the Huskies at MSG, where tonight's game is. But UConn has new leadership this year under former head coach for Rhode Island, Danny Hurley, and the Orange will have to go without Frank Howard for a third straight game. Syracuse men's soccer will know who they're facing after tonight when Ryder and Akron get going at 7 o'clock. Syracuse has already faced Akron this season, winning 3-1. They'll have a first-round bye as they'll face the winner of tonight's contest on Sunday at 2 o'clock at SU Soccer Stadium. And hockey is also in action tonight, going back to the city. A pair of New York teams play as the Rangers and Islanders face off in Brooklyn. Each team has 20 points on the year, but come into this one trending in the opposite directions. The Rangers have won 6 of their last 7. Meanwhile, the Isles have lost 3 of their last 4. Puck drop is at 7. And sad news today and last night as Liverpool native and former Syracuse football star Tim Green announced yesterday on Facebook that he has been diagnosed with ALS. The all-time SU sacks leader attended Syracuse from 1982 to 1985 before playing in the NFL. Green later attended law school at SU and has worked as a lawyer and philanthropist in central and upstate New York for the last 2 decades. He will appear on 60 Minutes this Sunday to share his story.
Now, Matt, that's certainly some sad news. What does he mean to the city of Syracuse?
He has meant a whole lot. He's lived here his entire life. Liverpool now lives in Skinny Atlas, and he's an incredible player. He's one of the best players in SU history, and he's also one of the best guys in SU history. Has given so much to this school and has also done so much charitable work. He actually, before he was diagnosed, had his own ALS foundation to help people with the disease. So clearly just an incredible, incredible guy, and terrible news to hear.
Yes, very sad news, and we're just almost half an hour away though from that big matchup between Syracuse and UConn at the Garden. Who do you have winning this one?
I got Syracuse, even though the Frank Howard isn't playing. UConn the last few years has not been what they used to be when these old Big East rivalries happened. Danny Hurley, first-year head coach, along with just not a great UConn team. I've got the Cuse in this one.
All right, thanks, Matt.
All right, we'll be right back.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Now, Carmella, I know it's snowing, but we're not listening to Mariah Carey just yet. But what can we expect tomorrow for those of us who are going home?
I mean, absolutely. I would definitely say Mariah Carey is the way to go. But as you guys know, the snow is coming down pretty hard right now. And as a result, the University Union has canceled its advanced screening of Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Students were supposed to be shuttled to the movie theaters at Destiny tonight, but those definitely had to get canceled, so that's definitely how the weather's impacting tonight. And as we take a look at our weather for tomorrow morning, we're going to have around 29 degrees and consistent snow until around 9 a.m. So if you're headed out before then, prepare for that. Make sure you're not slipping and sliding around. Make sure you have your boots on. And then after that, it's going to be mostly overcast and flurries throughout the rest of the day, with potential for rain around 1 p.m. And then as we take a look at our 5-day forecast, it's going to be mostly rain and snow on Friday, mostly rain and snow on Saturday, Sunday partly cloudy, and then snow showers Monday, Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Carmella. Now, you've probably heard of the term wild goose chase, but these two troopers in Maine had to go on a wild pig chase. Yesterday, state police found out that a pig had been spotted on the interstate.
The troopers were able to find the animal and take him to custody, although the state's police Facebook reports that the pig was not cooperative. Many people had seen the pig over the past week, but it escaped and wasn't captured until today. That's all the time we have tonight. For more of our content, visit us on Citrus TV News. I'm Zach Levine. I'm Gilat Melamed. Have a great night, Syracuse.